Yango Ads presents.
Hello, this is Yango Growth Chats, and today we're discussing cross-device campaigns for app marketers. Mobile marketers want to go beyond just mobile screens. They want to show ads for their apps on CTVs and desktops. That of course brings new advantages, but it also brings new challenges. How to set up tracking properly, how to prepare creatives for such a campaign, how to optimize the performance. This is all we'll discuss today with Sofia Mehrabi, Head of Media in Rocket 10 Agency. So cross-device campaigns are actually a big trend in UA now globally. Do you see any differences between regions? So are there regions that are really heavily adopting cross-device campaigns now?
Yes, I think that globally it is connected with the fact that such technologies are becoming more and more affordable for people. A few years ago, it was rare to buy a device, smart TV device, but now, for example, in Russia, almost 90% of new TVs are smart, and it shows us that for the most of developed countries, this is affordable now. And so we imply that people all over the world are becoming more and more digital. It's also important to note that now we all compete to reach people's attention, because we live in the era of low attention span, and these high involving formats are very important to every business.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, this is exactly what we're seeing. Like, it's almost an arms race between DSPs who have now connected TV, because on every conference, wherever you go, be it like San Francisco, Shanghai, Seoul, you see like CTV or CTV cases or platforms like talking about CTV everywhere. And like we see very large deals in this space. For example, like recently Netflix signed a deal with Amazon DSP, so like exclusive rights to show ads on Netflix just through Amazon DSP. So we definitely see some big players like really putting their attention to this format and really like developing CTV campaigns for mobile apps as well. Let's imagine we sold this type of campaign to marketers, and some like UA marketers out there like now thinking, okay, so I really want to start running cross-device for my app. What things should they consider? What should they prepare in order to run their first cross-device campaign?
I think you should set up your attribution properly, because it is always about your results interpretation. You may see nothing only because of the fact that you didn't make a good preparation, attribution setup, and so on. Secondly, I think you should prepare good creatives. They should suit to CTV campaigns, because they should be both good made, good production, good high quality of sound and video or image, and at the same time they should be native, so they should be organic to each platform. You should have a good narrative structure, a good hook, CTA, USPs, personalities that are shown should be organic to your business too. Because this format combines both your brand safety and your performance outcomes.
Yeah, about the creatives, it's like actually a really important part. And I actually saw some clients asking if they can run their banners on CTV, and the answer, of course, was no. So can you tell a bit more about the creative in terms of, you mentioned CTA, but on CTV, of course, you can't click on an ad. So like, how advertisers should structure their CTA for CTV creatives? Like, how should they urge people to actually pick up their phone and like download?
Okay, first of all, I think that you should mention your mobile app because some of business launch CTV campaigns just about their brand, their business. Like we have a service, but they don't mention mobile app, and this is a huge mistake. Secondly, I would say that you should use QR codes because they don't earn extra click attributions because people are not used to click where they click via image on your TV while watching some high involving formats. But still, QR codes add good attention to your ad. People trust when they see QR code. It is something that you can touch in something like this, and it is also important. A good creative for CTV should be unique because when you see a lot of simple creative videos and they are not different at all, it also make us blind, and it doesn't work. And of course you should test. You shouldn't use only one video, and you can make different campaigns with different creatives, test, and then choose something that works because each format is unique, and of course CTV too.
Yeah, and it would be like a really big shame if an advertiser has a testing budget, they prepare all the tracking attribution properly, like set up everything properly, and then they just have a bad creative. Maybe they don't mention their app, or they, I don't know, like they don't they just use bad quality images, or they don't use their brand very heavily, and then all those preparations and budgets which could actually really lift their app and grow their user base and have an impact just go to waste just because they didn't put attention to the creatives that they're running on TV.
You should also communicate with the ad platform because no one knows better about their platform.
That's
and
true.
yes, and when we communicate with our partners, they all give us support which way each creative should look like, and it always works. Just test and listen.
And if we're talking about the setup for the first test, so we have the attribution setup, we have the creative, what kind of budget should advertisers consider and what kind of success metrics they should look at if this is their first cross-device campaign?
I think it depends on each ad platform. Minimum, this is $1,000 of dollar a month. I think no one can offer less. And this is extra minimum, but I don't think that you can reach some performance results on this budget because every platform, every technology should learn and should learn on your own app. It should receive some data to make a conclusion which data is good and which data is not good. And this binary system works at each platform with a real-time bidding technology. If your bid is too low, you cannot reach good audience. If your bid is enough to compete with other advertisers, I think it may work very good. And then we look at our conversion from impression to installs, look at cost per install and all the subsequent funnel, customer acquisition cost, lifetime of our audience and so on. But to earn these attributions, you should wait because no one makes purchase at the same time as install. We cannot wait for results in 1 week even. We should wait for a month to receive data, to receive our in-app events, and to make a conclusion whether our test is successful or not.
So you're saying your clients also look at the whole funnel. So they're not just looking at like the reach metrics or like CPV or just CPIs. They're looking also at like how the customer acquisition cost. They're looking at the purchases and essentially how the campaign performed at the like LTV and retention level. So for us, we had a client who actually launched Cross-Device hoping for just reach or like views, and they won't even think about installs. But when we looked at the campaign, we found out that CPA for purchase, so the very low funnel for the client, was actually much lower than classic QA campaigns. So for us, it's also important to look at the whole funnel, like up to the very like bottom events like purchase or repeat purchases, LTV and retention, to understand how the campaign performed.
Yes, of course, we look at the full funnel, and it always depends on the goals advertisers set up. Because everyone wants to see different metrics. Someone wants to see really CPV, but with a reasonable price of customer acquisition cost. Someone doesn't think about such metrics as CPV or frequency at all. They want just to have a true performance instrument that can help us to make newcomers, just newcomers, everything we want. And we as an agency always think about listening to our customers, listen both our advertisers and the customers of our advertisers to make our campaigns efficient. And sometimes we combine different levels of funnel even in one media, and it works very well, especially when our advertiser doesn't want to spend a lot on classic media out of door and something like that. We make the full funnel ourselves.
And actually that's where like cross-device sounds like a very good fit, because it actually like allows in one campaign to have like media metrics, reach metrics, and then performance metrics. And he also mentioned like when they don't have budgets for like media, I know like whole verticals, whole industries right now, for example, ad tech. In ad tech, it's now really hard to differentiate, because all of the ad tech platforms, they offer essentially the same kind of courses, and they all now have huge discounts. The only way to differentiate becomes building your brand. But because of like the market situation, they don't have budgets for brands, so it becomes catch-22. I need to build my brand, but I don't have the budget, and to have budget, I need to build the brand. And again, this is where cross-device can help, because it doesn't cost as much as traditional TV does, so it's not the same as going on like the real TV, but it still gives you the reach and the trust. It also gives you the performance data, because a lot of companies now don't want to run advertising, as you mentioned, if they don't see like exact business value, like at least like CPIs, but better like ROAS or LTV from users, etc. So yeah, that's very true. Now the industry wants that as well. And I also wanted to ask, so let's say we launched the campaign, we prepared the creatives, we made the attribution. How can we optimize? Like what levers of optimizations would you see in order to make the campaign perform even better?
I think that the first level is creative. Now, creative is one of the most important types of indirect targeting. The second one is the platform. You should communicate with your support and rotate publishers and optimize. And now, optimization is not about your work as a buyer, for example. It's also about algorithms, AI, and sometimes you should rely on your algorithms and wait for the learning phase is over. For example, sometimes we launch campaign without performance CTA, but then we collect the data of people who have clicked our ad, and then use this data for our performance campaigns, because this is through UA but on some retargeting base, and it works good. This is some sort of brandformance. We use different types of data and then learn algorithms on data specialized on this concrete app. Not all the data the ad network has. This data is specialized and specific, and this is very important to wait to give your campaigns an opportunity to learn. And I think that first of all, give the algorithms an opportunity to learn.
Yes, it's very true about the algorithms and AI, and actually for any kind of campaign, not just cross-device. Recently had a chat with a head of an agency in Europe, and we also mentioned about how marketers should put more trust in the algorithm and let it run at least for the learning period, and only then evaluate the campaign performance. Because if you rush things, try to get the results in a day or even hours, it just sometimes isn't the real picture that you might be getting. And that, of course, is also true about cross-device. You mentioned AI, and this is like a buzzword now for any type of content marketers do. I wanted to ask you, if you're looking into the future of cross-device, if you're looking at how the format and the type of campaign would be developing, what would you say are the kind of your predictions? What would happen in the next months or years? What new features would this campaign have?
A lot of researchers say that polls say that more than half of marketers want to allocate budgets on CTV next year. So I think this is a huge trend. And as for AI, we use it not only when we launch campaigns and trust the algorithms, but also when we make creatives, because we have our own production team and they use AI technology to make our creatives perform good, because people like these AI effects. And as for predictions, I think that these environment is very competitive, and algorithms grow fast and develop fast, and this is very good, because a lot of big players are investing in this kind of business. Mobile marketing is a relatively young field of marketing business, so changes go fast, and we just adopt to them, and CTV is one of the changes that will be with us for a long, I think so.
Yeah, and what you mentioned about changing things fast, even for our CTV, like half a year ago, we had 3 times less advertisers and budgets in this format, and it grew so fast. I think with each new iteration of new campaigns, we see faster and faster adoption. So CTV became a thing for us in 7 months ago, and now the auction is already heating up because of all the advertisers rushing into this format. So things are moving very, very quickly. Also, I see that, for example, in the US market, since it's a bit more mature than ours, they started adding shoppable links. I know that for YouTube, you can send a link to your phone, and so you don't have to either scan QR or just remember the brand. You can just somehow click on your TV with the remote control and send a link to your phone. So it automatically gets an app to your phone. So maybe hopefully we'll get there soon as well.
Yes, I also heard about such technologies, shoppable ads, and they even use referred links to make a person buy even each concrete item, and it really works. And I think this is the technology that would be adopted in our market too.
Well, thank you so much for coming today to talk about cross-device, and I hope that we spark some interest with our viewers about this new type of campaign. And it is definitely something that they should try in order to stay on top of the game in UA and get new audiences and build awareness of their app and their brand. And is there something that you want to add to everything that we've talked about?
I would say that CTV now bridges brand and performance, and when it works so good, I think we should take all advantages of this format and work with it properly.
Thank you, Sonia. This was Yango Growth Chats. Thank you for joining us today to discuss cross-device campaigns for apps and their place in UA and app marketing globally. See you in another episode.